So, congratulations, you've gotten your admission, you've gotten your visa, and you're coming to study in Germany. This is what you need to know for your first month. Hey everyone, welcome to the Lady Lawyer channel. My name is Victoria and I'm a PhD researcher in Germany, originally from Nigeria. I make content around law, around African issues, around studying and everything in between. So if you're interested in these topics, kindly subscribe, like and share my video and invite your friends to also join us here. You can also share my videos if you like the content. So welcome to today's episode. Today, we're talking about what you need practically for your first 3 to 1 month stay as a student in Germany. This was the kind of information that I was looking for when I came to Germany. I absolutely had no idea what to do. Luckily for me, I had a good network. My center had somebody or some people who were helping me out with navigating how to deal with public transport, what to do at what time. I had absolutely no idea. And I believe that a lot of people also would have this challenge. So I'm going to be like your internet's big auntie in studying in Germany. And I'll provide you the information that would be relevant for you generally, and maybe more specifically as well to those who are coming to the Berlin-Brandenburg area in Germany. The first thing you need, I believe that as soon as you arrive, is you need to get a German SIM card. Please don't get it in the airport. It's probably going to be more expensive than you would pay for it. Best, when you come into the city, you find a shop and you have these big supermarkets like Media Markt or Saturn where they sell electronics. You can easily find a cheap SIM card, and some networks are preferable than the other. This video is not sponsored, so I'm not going to tell you which network you should buy, but there are a lot of them who have good bundles for international calling. So you can ask questions and find the best plan for you. The next thing you will need, obviously, is your accommodation, because you are coming and you need a place to sleep. This is important. I sincerely hope that you would have taken care of that before coming, and so that you have a particular place that you are headed from the airport. There are many options in Germany. There are hostels. There are hostels that are affiliated to institutions. There are more general hostels in town that are very cheap. You can get a bed from 20 euros, I believe, per night. So most accommodations would have already been booked out by the time the school year starts, depending on what type of school you're going to or in which city you're going to. Student accommodations are usually very tight, so it might be helpful for you to look into other hostels and private accommodation as well. But I expect that by the time you arrive, you would have already sorted this out and you know exactly where you are going. When you sleep and wake up, depending on the day you arrive and what time it is that you arrive, the next thing you would need to do would be to go to your university and enroll. This is very important because you need the document to do some other things, which we will talk about shortly. The enrollment process, you would need all the documentation with which you registered, and your general passport and all these things that all your documents that you need. Just go with your bunch of documents. I'm sure your university or your school would have also told you what you need. You go there, you register, you enroll. So you receive your Immatrikulations bescheinigung. This document will be important for you to be able to do many things, including to open a bank account. So from there, you need to go to the bank with your ID documents, depending on the bank that you have. If you open a blocked account or another bank which will be willing to accept you, you need to go with your ID document and also this your immatriculation certificate to open a bank account. Bank accounts in Germany can be a bit tricky because not all banks are willing to open accounts for foreigners. So it may take a bit of convincing. There are some institutions that also have partnerships with certain banks that might help. Additionally, now the good news of mobile banking is also exciting. There are banks like N26 and Revolut and a few other banks that operate mobile banks and have mobile ways of accessing their customers. So you may not necessarily need to go to a physical location. You may be able to actually open the account in a few easy steps online. And that might be helpful because if you think about the bureaucracy around opening a typical bank account in Germany, this might be a preferred option. And so far, many of these banks have a good track record and they're doing very well. So you need to open a bank account. This bank account is important to be able to get access to your blocked account if you had a blocked account while you were coming to Germany. So that's really crucial. Additionally, in Germany, it is illegal to live in a city without registering in that city. And when you move cities, you're also supposed to deregister from your old address and register at your new address. So you as a person who lives in Germany, you must be traceable to an address. So you therefore have to go to the city office to register yourself. So this process is called Anmeldung. So you have to go and do your Anmeldung. Many times you need an appointment to do this. So you have to look online at the website to look for the nearest location to you or the location in which you can get an appointment quicker. There are a few of them also who take walk-ins, but you cannot always guarantee that. But sometimes you can get walk-ins. So you have to go there, register yourself with your documents, and then the city knows where you live essentially. Once you register yourself and you're traceable to a particular address, you may also need to have your name on the bell, on the door outside. This is important for for you to be able to receive your letters or receive your packages if you order anything online or things like that. This also might be worked around if the accommodation is not yours and the owner does not allow you to have your name on the door. But when you fill your address in forms, then you have to fill it in a certain way, referencing the person whose name is on the door. So you have to fill your name in such a way that your address will be in care of the owner of the door so that you can get your letters. And for everybody who lives in Germany, they know that letters are the absolutely most important thing you can think of. Germans love letters. The postal system works flawlessly, and most organizations and institutions would communicate with you only through letters. It was only in this COVID-19 situation that I realized that a lot of institutions can actually send emails. Shocker, surprise, surprise. They would rather send you a letter rather than send an email. So you need to be registered somewhere. You need to have your name on the door or put down your address in a way that your letters can get to you. Otherwise, you might be in a lot of trouble. Additionally, you also would need to find work if you do not have, for example, you don't have scholarship. Even people with blocked accounts would need to work to sometimes to make up the other part of the money that they need. So as students from other countries, international students in Germany, for the most part, if you're not from the EU or the EEA region, many times we're allowed to work 20 hours a week, which is like part-time. So it's important for you to begin to ask questions, especially from people who live around. Maybe consider looking into some agencies that may be able to find you work. It also depends on what type of work you're interested in. I work in the NGO industry, so I work as a project manager in an NGO, and it's particularly fine for me. It works very well. I'm also executing a project that is very close to what I am studying and working on. So it's almost like a practical aspect of what I have studied. So this is great. I know that I'm one of the lucky ones. A lot of people have to do things like cleaning and working in restaurants and all of that. While these things might help you pick up your language skill, a lot of, it depends on what choices you have and what you're willing to do. But it's important that you look into what options there are and try to find a job as soon as possible. And that leads me also to the question of language. Many universities, many institutions, and even cities have a lot of free language and integration course. So it will be helpful for you to look into these things. When I came, I didn't know that, for example, the Bürgeramt, which is like the district office, have offerings of free German language courses. Many of these courses were targeted towards refugees, but a lot of districts have now extended the scope to include immigrants who are not necessarily refugees. And I didn't know that I could take advantage of that, So this is something that you may need to look into. Look in your district. Are there free courses? There will perhaps be some NGOs as well that will be organizing free German classes or free integration, or look into tandem classes where you can link up with a local and you can teach each other your language. So if you speak English and you want to learn German, you may find somebody who speaks German and want to learn English. But if you don't look in your community, you may not know that these things exist, and they exist a lot. I didn't know that when I came, and I think that it will be good for a lot of people to know this and take advantage of this. So language is key, and finding a place to learn the language is important. Another thing which many people don't realize when they come is that, for the most part, for many of us who are from Africa or Latin America or Asia, when you're coming as a student, they give you at best a 6-month visa, sometimes 3 months. I got a 3-month visa when I came. And so almost immediately as you arrive, you need to make an appointment to be able to extend your permit. This is very important because the appointments are crazy, especially in big cities. So if you live in Munich or Frankfurt or in Berlin, you may not get appointments 3-4 months, in the future. So as soon as you arrive, start looking into the appointments, depending on how many months they gave you when you were coming. Start looking into finding an appointment and, going for your visa interview. If you don't find an appointment, there are other ways to go about it. For example, I know that in Berlin, I think once a week or twice a week, they attend to people who do not have appointments. But guess what happens on these days? You have to go there and camp out there for hours. So you may need to camp out there for hours, and by the time the officers come early in the morning, they pick the first 70 people, and that's it. I am talking from experience because I had to do it once, and trust me, I would not advise anyone to go through that process. I'm aware also that many universities and institutions provide some support for their international students. So good luck to you. If you can get support from your institution, please take it. This is important. Another thing which I think is important is if you are renting your own flats. Also, before I go quickly into the flat thing, please beware when you're looking for accommodation from abroad. There are a lot of scammers in big German cities who are looking to take advantage of international students and people from abroad who want accommodation in Germany. Many big cities in Germany have a lot of accommodation issues, and so these bad people want to take advantage. So please do not pay anybody for any accommodation before you actually see the place. This is crucial. This is absolutely important. Don't fall for the scam. Please do not fall for the scam. When you arrive, even if it means getting a hotel for a couple of days and going to see some of these places before you actually pay. So yes, now that you have a flat of your own, you would need to arrange your internet. This is another thing that can be time consuming and energy draining. You need to arrange your power, your gas, your strom, depending on which one the flats that you have use. My flat, everything is completely electric, but there are some flats where they have electricity, but they have gas for the cooking. You need to arrange this. You need to sort out your internet. You need to sort out everything that you need. Basically, contracts everywhere. Beware of contracts in Germany. Some contracts, getting into a contract in Germany is like just something that's absolutely unbreakable if you are not careful. So when you get into a contract, many service providers want to give a 2-year contract. And remember that for every contract, you need to indicate that you want to end it at least 3 months before the end. It also goes for accommodation contracts, by the way. So if you don't indicate, it would automatically just resume into the next one. And if it was a 2-year contract to start with, it means you are now signed on for another 2 years. Good luck getting out of those contracts. Please, I beseech you, be very careful. Look at what you're signing. If you need help with people who speak German to help you look into it and interpret it, translate it properly for you to understand, please do so before you sign things. Ditto for gym contracts and all contracts you can think of. Additionally, remember to get your semester ticket from your university if you're paying for it, although I would advise to pay for it because it is the most reasonable approach. It's also a lot cheaper for you as a student. using public transport, and it's also discounted for you when you eat in the university mensa, depending on what type of university you are in, of course. I know some schools don't offer that option, but if your school offers that option, please take it. Get a semester ticket, and at least you know that for the entire semester you are covered for public transport. If you're not using that option, then please by all means buy tickets, maybe monthly ticket depending on what you can afford. It pains a lot to pay for tickets if you're caught by controllers. It's better for you to do the right thing and buy your ticket. And last but not the least, depending on what season you come into Germany, depending on which city you live in, you might need a bicycle. Yes. Germany is a country of cyclers, and many cities have more bicycles than people. So in smaller towns, it's probably easier and cheaper to move around with bicycles than to take public transport. So if you're in a small town, you may not even need to buy a semester ticket or train or tram ticket for the whole month. You may just need to invest in a good bicycle, and then you forget about paying for transport altogether. Remember that you may not know this, so it's not right to say remember, but please note that in summer months especially, bicycle theft is usually very high. So make sure that while you're buying your bicycle, if you need to buy a bicycle, you also buy a very good lock. And make sure that the way you store your bicycle is stored in a place that would not be open to thieves. And you make sure that you keep your bicycle in good condition, and trust me, it will take you can use it for years and years. So with these few words of mine, I hope I've been able to convince and not to convince you. No, I'm joking. Well, I'm going to end it here. And if there is anything else that you need to know, please ask me in the comment section. Or if there's anything you want to add for those of you who are in Germany, please also put it in the comment section. And let's help out the people who are just coming and provide them with the information which we didn't have when we came. So thank you very much, and kindly subscribe on your way out. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.